Communications class. My name is Sarah Lopez, and believe it or not, I once relied on government assistance. I was a young mother and had to rely on Medicaid for healthcare, WIC for formula and other staples. I also needed help with daycare assistance so I could attend school. Without these benefits, I would have struggled greatly. Tonight, I will be discussing a conflict about government assistance that has been going on for about 5 years and what a possible solution could be. The conflict is whether or not to drug test welfare recipients. The idea behind drug testing welfare recipients is so that the government can be sure that taxpayers' money is being used appropriately. The current poverty rate is 15.1%. And in 2011, $668 billion was spent on 126 different welfare programs. Now, $668 billion is a substantial amount of money, and some believe by drug testing welfare recipients, money can be saved and used on those who truly need the help. However, some people feel that drug testing is a violation of privacy. So where do you draw the line when it comes to drug testing welfare recipients? Let's look at the two sides of this conflict. On one side, you have governors who want to enforce drug testing. Many feel that tax money should not be wasted on frivolous, self-destructive activities such as drug use. They see nothing wrong with asking someone who is receiving benefits to take a drug test. Many people who are not receiving benefits are faced with drug testing, whether it be for their employer or a professional sports team. And no one is trying to say that the poor are more likely to be addicted to drugs. But there are statistics out there that show that there is a large number of recipients that have admitted to illegal drug use. In fact, the Robert Wood Foundation reported in 2007 that approximately 20% of welfare recipients reported having used an illicit drug in the past year, and 5% admitted that they had a substance abuse problem. Therefore, drug testing would accomplish two goals. One, you would be able to offer treatment to those who are addicted to drugs. And two, taxpayers' money would not be used towards the purchase of drugs. Now, on the other hand, you have people who are outraged by having welfare recipients take drug tests. They feel that drug testing is humiliating and unconstitutional. There are more and more families that are struggling and are needing public assistance. And to assume that people who are receiving public assistance use drugs at a higher rate than the general public is just ridiculous. Out of 1,000 drug tests in a month, only 2% came back positive, which means that the government had to reimburse 98% of those drug tests that were taken that month. And according to an article in the U.S. News and World Report, Florida reimbursed funds to those who passed their drug test with the funds that are used to help people pay their rent, their heating cost, and to purchase clothes for their children. And for those who did test positive for drug use, their federal assistance was denied for 1 year. This would only leave an individual moneyless and drug addicted, and not to mention their children. Their children would also lose out on benefiting from the assistance. So let's look at a solution where both sides could be satisfied. One way would be to only drug test those that have a known or suspected drug problem. And when drug tests do come back positive, there can be a compromise so the entire family doesn't suffer because of a poor decision of the applicant. A committee was asked to consider a provision of the House bill which would create a protective payee. The Austin Chronicle shared an article that explains how this would work. Under that provision, if adults test positive for drugs, only the adults and not the children would be bumped from the program. Instead, another adult would be designated to manage the benefits for the children. This seems like a good compromise that everyone could benefit from. Tonight, I have shared with you the pros and cons of drug testing welfare recipients. You have heard how drug testing can help those who have a drug addiction by getting them the help that they need to get back on track, to help them find and keep jobs. I have also talked to you about how taking away benefits from the applicant because of a positive drug test can hurt the children and the family. By not drug testing welfare recipients, people would not be made to feel inferior. It is already hard for some to ask for help. So you decide, should welfare recipients be required to take a drug test?